Welcome to Flow. Let's get started. For today's series, I would recommend grabbing a strap or a t-shirt for the end of the sequence. We'll be starting on your back. Bring the bottoms of your feet together. Let your knees open to the side. Bring one hand to your belly, one hand to your heart. Maybe allow your eyes to close and bring your focus and your awareness to your breath. Begin to take bigger inhales and bigger exhales. Just give your body a quick scan. Notice any tension you might be holding on to. Grab the outsides of your thighs and close your knees like a book. And then pull your knees to your chest. Now with your right hand on your right knee and your left hand on your left knee, start to pull your knees away from each other and draw big opposing circles with your knees. So we're finding a little more lubrication and range of motion through the hip joint. Take about 3 to 5 in one direction and then move on to the other direction. Use your hands as much as you want to maybe go a little bit deeper into your range of motion. And then bring your hands behind your thighs, rock and roll yourself to an upright position and move through to an all fours tabletop position. From this all fours tabletop, we start to move through cat and cow. On your inhale, drop your belly, lift your gaze. And on your exhale, cat spine, press into the ground, dome through your upper back. Start to move at your own pace with breath. You can start to feel activation through your core, through your shoulders, through your chest. Maybe take a little bit of movement through your jaw and your face. Notice if you're holding on to tension there. Give yourself one more set, one more round. And come back to a neutral tabletop position. From neutral tabletop, open your right leg out to the side and then start to draw 5 big circles in this direction with your right knee. So we're finding a little more range of motion through the hip, but now we have to use musculature to actually lift the right knee, the right leg. We're using the right glute and we're using the core. After 5 circles in one direction, start to find these 5 circles in the other direction. Notice if all of your weight is kind of sagging into your left hand, try to distribute the weight evenly. After your 5th time, open your right knee to the side, angle your bottom left shin, and then cross your right knee behind your left, and we're coming into this cross-legged child's pose. Now this can be a pretty intense stretch for the outer hips. If you don't feel quite ready for it and your hips are up really, really high, that's okay. Just breathe into the outer glutes. We're not here for long. Just an opportunity to start getting deeper into the hips. Breathe into this space. Maybe crawl your fingertips a little further away from your knees. And then slowly bring yourself up, unravel your legs. Come back to tabletop. Take one set of cat-cow just to flush that out. And we're going to take everything on the opposite side. So lift your left knee out to the side and then start to draw these big circles. Now, when you lift your knee, you'll probably notice that your core becomes a lot more engaged. Allow that to happen. Pull your belly button up towards your lower spine. While you're moving the leg, think that everything else in your body tries to stay as still as possible. After taking 5 circles in one direction, start to take this in the opposite direction. You find a little more fluidity and movement through the left hip joint. Your range of motion, your speed. And then after your 5th time, just lift your left leg up. Bring your right shin, your right ankle across, and then bring your left knee behind your right for this cross-legged child's pose on the opposite side. Hips can be higher up in the air, that's okay. Send your fingertips away from your hips. Breathe into the space that you're creating through your outer hips. Full big breaths in and out. And now slowly bring yourself up, unravel your legs, bring yourself back to your neutral tabletop position. From tabletop, we're moving into a deep lunge. Take your right foot outside of your right hand and then start to slide your left knee back slightly. So your right foot's outside of your right hand. You can stay on your palms or you can lower your forearms down to the mat as I'm demonstrating here. This will get a little bit deeper. Otherwise, stay on your palms. This is a deep hip opener called a lizard lunge. Also probably feeling this a little bit through the front right hamstring. Breathe into the space that you're creating and allow your hips to get heavier with every breath. Allow your head to hang heavy. And then wherever you are, bring your palms back down, flip your back toes, lift your back knee, and then start to heel toe your foot so it's in the center of your chest. We're just in a regular low lunge. You can take some shifts forwards and backwards here. And then start to move this low lunge. We're coming into a one-legged halfway lift. So start to bring your back left foot in, shift your fingertips forward, and then lift your left leg up. So we're trying to make a capital L shape with your two legs. Now, if your hands can't get down to the ground, maybe grab some blocks or bolsters and you can bring your hands down onto that. Start to experiment with opening your left hip. As you open the hip, you'll notice that your left ankle might be able to go a little bit higher. Just something to acknowledge and notice in your own body. Come back to square hips, bend your bottom knee, and then cross your left leg behind your right. So how I'm accomplishing this is both of my knees are pretty deeply bent. Once you're here, send your fingertips over towards the right side of your mat while your hips go over towards the left. This is a really deep IT band stretch. It's also really deep in the outer glutes. If you've got blocks or bolsters underneath your hands, feel free to keep using those. Come back to center, unravel your feet. Bend your knees a lot and then slowly, slowly roll yourself all the way upright to stand. Shoulders, chin, and gaze are the last things to arrive. Maybe once you get there, give yourself a few little shoulder rolls, a little shake out. Lift your arms up overhead. And then keep this going into a back bend. Goalpost the arms, lift your chest. Inhale to stand. And on your exhale, chin to chest, roll yourself all the way back down. Option to bend your knees if you need to. Bring your hands down, step your feet back, high plank, 10 seconds. Bring your shoulders right over your wrists. Make sure your hips aren't dropping down, your hips are in line with your shoulders. We start to find some heat through your core. Tabletop, lower your knees down to your mat, and we're taking everything on the second side. Step your left foot outside of your left hand, and then you can shimmy your right knee back slightly. Option to stay on the palms as I'm demonstrating, or option to come down to your forearms. Your front left toes can be pointed slightly out to a diagonal. And then start right away to find your breath. Deep, fluid breaths. Every exhale, allow your hips to sink a little heavier. Notice what your jaw is doing. Maybe find a little bit of movement there. And then we slowly transition. Come back to your palms. Flip your back toes, lift your back knee, and then heel toe your left foot towards the center of your chest. Stay in this low lunge for a moment, maybe shift back and forth. From here we move, shift all of your weight forward to your front left foot and try to lift your right leg up off the ground. One-legged halfway lift. Try to square your right hip down towards the mat. And then start to play around a little bit. So you can open your right hip, lift your ankle, and then find square hips again, just so you can differentiate between these two hip positions. We find a little more opening through the right hip. Now stay with square hips, bend your bottom knee, and then bring your right foot behind your left for a cross-legged forward fold. Allow both of your knees to bend if you need to. Allow the crown of your head to drop down towards the mat. And then crawl your hands over towards the left side of your mat as you send your hips over towards the right. So this is a pretty deep stretch for the IT band, also into the outer glutes. Breathe into those spaces, full big breaths in and out. And now slowly bring your hands back to center. Unravel your feet. Bend your knees a lot and slowly roll your body up once again. Feel your vertebrae stack. Shoulders, chin, and gaze are the last things to arrive. Lift your arms up and again find this nice juicy back bend. Bend the elbows, lift your chest up. Inhale to stand. Bring your hands down by your side. From this mountain pose, pull your chin to your chest and slowly roll yourself all the way down. We're coming all the way down to the ground. Bend your knees. If you have that strap or t-shirt, go ahead and grab it now. Roll yourself down onto your back. Bend both of your knees so your feet are flat. And then place the strap or the t-shirt around your right foot. And then try to extend your right leg up to the ceiling. Now your left leg can stay bent as I'm demonstrating here, or if you'd like to, you can extend your left leg long. Your top right knee can be bent. We're just trying to pull the shin a little bit closer towards your face. This is a deep hamstring opener. Breathe into your hamstrings. And now bring the strap, so only your right hand is grabbing the strap, and start to send your right leg out to the right side. So now we're getting a little bit deeper into the inner thigh and the groin through your right leg. I also try to keep my left hip down to the ground. So I do that manually by actually placing my left hand on my left hip. Come back to center and now switch hands. The strap goes to your left hand. Now you can sickle your right foot slightly and then bring your right leg. So it's not going all the way across your body. It's actually kind of a small range of motion. Bring it across and this will get even deeper into your right IT band. That's your outer right thigh. Slowly come back to center. Give yourself one more little pull through center and then release. You can extend your legs. You can keep your legs bent. Just take a moment here. Notice any differences that you feel from one side to the other. And then we'll move on to the opposite side. Option to start with knees bent. Loop the strap around your left foot and extend your left knee. Option to keep the right knee bent, or maybe you slide the right knee straight. As you're coming into the opposite side, notice any differences that you feel. Maybe this side is a lot more tight. Every exhale, allow your shin to get a little bit closer towards your nose. Take big breaths here. And now switch the strap. So both of the straps are in your left hand. And then open your left leg to the left. I like to bring my right hand down onto my right hip to try to keep my right hip down. You can have a bend of your right knee or you can straighten it out. Just breathe into your inner left thigh. Take full big breaths in and out. Slowly come back to center and we'll switch. Move your strap to your right hand. You can find a slight sickle through your left foot and then bring your left leg just barely across to the right. We don't want to emphasize a twist in the spine here. We want to think more about the stretch through your outer thigh and also into your outer left shin. Breathe into that space. Breathe into that length. And then slowly come back to center. Give yourself one more moment in center. Maybe you pull the leg just a little bit closer. And then release, let it go. Place your strap off to the side. And pull both of your knees in towards your chest. Grab for fingers or wrists and take a little side to side movement. Our final posture is exactly how we began in the reclined bound angle pose. Bring the bottoms of your feet together, let your knees fall open. Bring one hand to your belly, one hand to your heart. Now that we're revisiting this posture after our series, notice how your body, more specifically your hips, might feel a little bit different in this posture. Come back to that breath that you established at the beginning of the practice. Fill your belly, fill your lungs, fill your rib cage. Every exhale, allow any excess tension to just melt away into your mat. Thanks for joining us today. And that's your flow.